Okay.
Should I
Yeah,
use my
beautiful
sound
weather.
effects?
Okay.
Can you hear
I
that?
would
Did you hear sound effects or no?
no sound
Oh,
effect.
I had sound effects going. Maybe it didn't work. Never mind.
Oh, okay. I would say let's kick it off officially. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday Morning Motivation. As we always say, congratulations for not making excuses and being here with us on this beautiful sunny morning, at least in Shanghai. For Dr. Brian Harman, it's actually afternoon. Thanks to my former office neighbor Alex, who's hopefully gonna come in a few minutes. I got introduced to amazing Brian. He is located in California in the US, but he made no excuses, and he's here with us today to have some really good sharings and 10 good tips for us so we can start implementing immediately. In case you are new to Monday Morning Motivation, feel free to scan the QR code here. We will admit you to one of our 5 WeChat groups. We have 2,500 members all over China now, few people joining us from abroad. And Maria and I, we always do this basically like with lots of heart and dedication. So if you feel like you would like to donate something, we give 50% to the 1 million tree project. And I think we had like more than 300 trees that we donated last year. So we're very proud of this, and thank you for your support, because the environment really needs our support, right? And in case you ever miss a webinar on Monday mornings, no worries, you can catch up. We have a QR code for this as well. And if you need a nice online book or like daily motivation with great quotes, as well as exercises on goal setting and gratitude, happiness, you can get our bilingual book or just the English book, ebook, or printed version, as you like. Okay. And that's enough about us now. This is our great lineup for April. And Brian, I will hand over to you now. I would say the stage is yours. Guys, you can ask Brian lots of questions after the 20-minute presentation of his.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Janine. Great to be here. And if you could give me a co-host or sharing of some kind,
Oh,
I'll pull my
of
slide.
course. Sorry, it got stopped. Let's do it again. Oh, by the way, Brian, I'm very excited to see that our common friend Alex, with this amazing pizza bauza in the background, he's joining. Alex, thank you so much for connecting Brian and me. I'm really grateful for this.
Yeah.
All
Hey.
possible thanks to you.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, the stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine. And thank you, Alex, for the introduction. It's so great to be here with you all. It is Monday morning. I hope you're motivated to just have an awesome week. I'd love to just talk to you about some ways that you might rethink how you're building trust around you. A little bit about me. I'm in Los Angeles, California. It's Sunday afternoon right now. And although I haven't been to Shanghai, I have done some work in the south of China and in Hong Kong. That's probably as close as I've gotten. But again, luckily for Zoom, I am here with you today. I teach as a part-time professor at a few universities and also as an executive coach, and do some corporate training and career coaching, helping people get jobs. So that's a little about me. I'm going to dive right into this. I want to tell you about one important fact when it comes to trust and building trust around you. Is no one's going to trust you if you don't trust yourself. Self-trust is the intentional willingness to control your outcomes. That's what self-trust is, having influence over your own actions. If people see you as someone that doesn't keep promises to yourself, they're much less likely to trust you. And we can see right through the false stuff. So if you're going to make promises to yourself and declare them to other people, you better keep those promises, because people are watching what you do. On that same accord, the way to increase self-trust is by keeping promises to yourself. But in the behavioral cycle of self-trust, the way it works is you want to make a promise to yourself, keep that promise, and then generate an act of self-love or self-reward or self-gratitude. You got to do something that tells yourself in your head, oh, okay, this is great. I'm doing a good job. I'm doing the things I say I'm going to do. And self-reward can be something really small. It can be taking a bath. It can be reading a book. It can be going on a nice lonely walk. If you do 30 minutes of exercise and then book yourself a vacation, that's an over self-reward. And those types of things can lead to addiction or actually some negative behaviors. So when I say reward yourself for keeping your own promises, make sure you do it in a smart way. One thing that I did for myself, because I rode on the Peloton bike for 30 minutes on Saturday morning, instead of taking a shower afterwards, I took a bath. That's a great way to reward yourself for doing something that you said you would do. I'm going to ask you later on to make a promise to yourself. So start thinking through, what is that thing that you've maybe been putting off? Maybe there's a family member you should have called back. What's a promise that you want to make to yourself today? That's going to be something that I'm going to ask you in about 15 minutes. So think about that in the meantime. All right. Number 3, don't hide your feelings. Trust. Another word for trust is truth. Another word for truth is transparency. I call that openness. So don't hide your feelings and never answer the question, how are you, in under 50 words. So when Janine got on the first Zoom with me earlier and she says, Brian, how you doing? I gave her a whole essay about my life story in the last 3 days and what I'm going to do this week and what intentions I'm going to bring into my Monday morning and all kinds of stuff. And then when I say, and how are you, Janine? You know what she does back? Is she can't just say, oh, I'm good. Thanks, Brian. No, she wants to reciprocate that. And that's number 4. Trust is a reciprocal emotion, much like happiness, much like a smile. You have to give it to get it back. It starts with you. When I described self-trust as intentional willingness to control your outcomes, it's just a very, very small difference for interpersonal trust. Interpersonal trust is the intentional willingness to let others control outcomes in your life. Let's hit number 5. Looking people in the eye when you smile. It's a gift. Looking people in the eye can be hard. It's actually a sign of vulnerability. And by doing that, the other person is more likely to trust you. Other physical signals of trust include a handshake, open body language, open palms, heart facing heart. Laughter is another physical form of trust. When you laugh, you go, ha, 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 ha. You expose your most vulnerable body parts in your neck when you laugh. Your carotid arteries, your cranial vagus nerves, your jugular veins. So those are all great, great signals of physical trust. When these occur, the reason that it's a reciprocal emotion is because in our bodies, much like when we eat a healthy snack or when we're outside in the sunlight, our body releases these certain transmitters, whether it's serotonin or dopamine. But for trust, the one that's released is called oxytocin. This is most strongly felt after some showing of love or affection. There was a great study by Dr. Paul Zak, and he found that in society, the event in which we have the highest release of oxytocin in our blood is number 1, childbirth for a woman. Number 2, sex. Number 3, wedding ceremonies. So oxytocin has been called the bonding molecule or the trust molecule. And when you do little things like look people in the eye or shake their hand, even a high five or a hug, when you do any of that stuff, you're giving the other person a nice jolt of oxytocin. All righty, number 6. Another way to build trust is to admit your mistakes and failures. Admitting your mistakes and failures. Treating people with love and affection in their failures or their happiest moments are both good ways to build trust. When you admit your mistakes, you're telling people that it's okay to try new things. That becomes a norm in the relationships around you, whether that's in work or in your personal life. In the workplace in particular, leaders who admit their mistakes more often are seen as more confident, more ethical, and have more compassion for people, and they build better products and services. I thought that was a cool study. All right. Number 7, sharing more than usual. Goes back to reciprocation. If you want to build a community of strong relationships around you, then you got to communicate more and share more than usual. Community and communication actually are the same word. They come from the Latin root communicare, which means to share. Sharing builds trust. Showing people that you have a genuine interest in them as people is a trust-building behavior. If you don't know the personal stories of all the people that you work with, get to it. Have some personal time. Build that trust. Show that you care. Number 8, listening more than half the time. You may have heard this term before called the talk to listen ratio. So in any dialogue, you want to always check yourself. Am I talking enough? Is the other person talking too much? Do I need to explain more of why and how and what? Do I need to elongate my answers a little bit and have some more balance in this conversation? Am I dominating the conversation and need to ask more probing questions with how or why? So always just be conscious in your conversations. What is my talk to listen ratio? Am I sharing? So back up to number 7. Am I sharing? But also, am I balancing? Number 9, pause before responding. This one's an interesting one because it's essentially the opposite of interrupting people. Interrupting people is a trust-degrading behavior. It often means that you were thinking of something else when someone was talking. It means that your thoughts are more important than theirs, so you dismissed it and shut them up by interrupting. But if you really deeply listen to the truth behind what people are saying, if you give them the full time and focus that they deserve, then you shouldn't be coming up with a response while they're talking. Wait for them to finish, pause and think about it, then respond. This is ultimately the opposite of interrupting people. So if you take away nothing, and men are terrible at this. Men interrupt women 3 times more than the other way around. But if you take away nothing else from today, just remember, it doesn't feel good to be interrupted, so don't do it to other people. Number 10, providing explanations for what you say and do. I love when people tell me why. It also elevates small talk. So if you're in a conversation with someone and you said, hey, I'm going to the zoo with my son next weekend, and I tell you why I'm doing that, that's a lot cooler than if I just tell you what I'm doing. We've just elevated small talk to a deeper conversation. In the workplace, this is awesome. Because if you're given a task or project and you know its impact on the people around you, the customers, the investors, the clients, whoever it is, then you have more of a collective impact, more feeling about my involvement in what I'm doing. It's one of the easiest ways to bring more personal meaning into someone's job, by making sure they understand the impact that their work has on everyone around them. I believe that one of the great things that a manager and a good leader has to do in the workplace also is to generate opportunities for you to work with people in different areas of the business. That's another way to add collective impact into people's work. So that's number 10. We already got through them. It's pretty cool. I got one more. I called this the bonus trust round. The bonus round. Trying new things. In the workplace, the way a leader generates more trust is through 3 major ways. The openness, which we've talked about. Admitting mistakes and failure, which is number 2. And number 3 is trying new things. If you think of trust in a relationship as, let's say, a circle like this, every time you try something new, you're giving that circle the ability to grow. But if you just do the same things all the time, there's consistency, that's great. There's not nearly the growth and trust that you could get by trying new things. So what is trying new things? What that means in the workplace, especially, is just doing things that aren't the normal things. So maybe starting a meeting with a breathing exercise, or a stand-up stretch, or going on a walking meeting, having a stand-up meeting. Maybe starting a meeting off with an icebreaker, like what was your first job, or what's the weirdest place you've ever been, or what's the coolest restaurant you ate at recently? What's something new you've learned about life? Any of these new things that you can bring into your day-to-day, when you do that, what that tells the people around you is that this behavior is acceptable here. We're the kind of team that tries new things, and teams that have more new things in their day-to-day, they have something called more social trust or psychological safety. That makes teams more adaptable to change, more resilient. It brings more purpose and joy into their work. Google did this awesome multi-year extensive study called Project Aristotle. And over the course of a few years, they found one key ingredient in all their highest performing teams, and that's something that is called psychological safety, this social trust. When we're not penalized for trying new things, we do better at work. And the only way that you can show that as a leader is by doing it yourself. So you have to be the one that brings those new things, break those social norms down. All right, so at the very beginning, I told you the beautiful behavioral cycle of self-trust. And in the highest performing people in the world, they do that through making promises to themselves, keeping promises to themselves, active self-love, and then repeat. If you don't reward yourself, you get burnout. If you over-reward yourself, that can be negative or possibly addictive behaviors. So don't going on you don't deserve a shopping spree if you just went on the treadmill for 30 minutes. So remember, match that self-reward, self-gratitude, self-love with that promise that you're making to yourself. So let's do that. Think through this for a second. And then I'd love to see in the chat box, there's a typo there. What's a promise you're going to make and keep to yourself today? Any promise. It can be something healthy, like, hey, I'm going to get the right amount of sleep tonight. I'm going to go to bed on time. I'm going to get off WeChat for a few hours. It could be an exercise, maybe eating healthy. It could be reading a book. But whatever that commitment is, if you declare it to other people, which is what I'm asking you to do in the chat box, declaring yourself promise to other people is actually a great way to keep yourself accountable. I'm going to tell you an example here, why this matters so much. My wife, Christina, if I tell her on Friday, I'm only going to have 1 glass of wine because I want to run tomorrow morning, I'm going to go for a 30-minute jog. That's a self-promise. If she sees that I keep that promise on Saturday, then she knows this is a person that can make and keep promises to himself. And then she's going to trust me more as a result. Alternatively, if I say, hey, I'm going to just have 1 glass of wine with Friday dinner because I I want to run tomorrow morning, and then I don't. Now she sees Brian's not a person that can keep promises to himself. So you can make and keep promises to yourself and just keep it to yourself, or you can declare it to other people. But once you get in that nice cycle, now you can start making promises to other people and keeping those promises. That's interpersonal trust.